In with the roll call.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Here.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Here.
Ms. Boucher, Mr. Bergarelli,
Present.
Ms. Burks, Mr. DeRay,
Present.
Mr. Howard.
Here.
Mr. Levinstein.
Here.
Ms. Politi.
Here.
Thank you. We'll move to item 2. Ms. Roaring tonight will be doing a budget presentation, the budget workshop. Floor.
Thank you. Good evening. This evening's budget development update is going to include an update in our expense and revenue projections for next year, as well as fund balance and restricted reserves. We're going to revisit the restricted funds within the general fund, and then Ms. Holder will present on some staffing items towards the end of the presentation. So our updated expense, we've made some changes since we last presented the rollover to you back in February. We will be engaging in some borrowing associated with our capital project, and these adjustments at the top here reflect the changes that we've made to the band payments that are expected in the budget, which will now become bond payments in the budget, both principal and interest. We've also made some adjustments to our custodial contract services, as well as our custodial and maintenance supplies. Those adjustments were made to offset some of the staffing needs in that department. We have some position savings that we'll provide additional detail on as we move through the budget presentation this evening. And we've made some adjustments in software and textbook and fine-tuned our projection for health insurance next year. We've made a few additions as well. As I mentioned, we have some custodial staff and security staff in here for the new CTE building, as well as the creation of a chief custodian position for the PM so that we have some supervision over that work in our buildings at night. We've also updated our revenue projection. So we've been closely monitoring our local sources of revenue, including our interest earnings, and we feel comfortable increasing that increase at this time by $500,000. We believe that's going to more closely align with where we'll land at the end of this year. The other important thing I want to reiterate here is that we are attributing interest earned on the reserve funds to the reserves as was recommended by the State Comptroller's Office. We have also received updated numbers for state aid in the February database, and these are not the numbers we'd hoped to see. So we are now recognizing a reduction from our initial projection of revenue of $1.8 million in foundation aid, as well as some adjustments to our categorical aids for hardware, software, library, and textbooks. Those are the result of a decrease in enrollment as reported to the state. So we have an overall decrease at this time in state aid of $1.866 million from what we originally projected in February. Our ultimate state aid will be based on whatever the legislative adopted budget is. At this time, with the increase in interest earnings as well as the decrease in expected state aid, we have an overall decrease to our original revenue projection of $1.366 million. This again continues to assume a flat tax levy, and it also recognizes the board's goal of a reduction of 5% in our use of restricted reserves and appropriated fund balance. So we share this chart with the board every year as part of our budget development process, and this lists the various restricted reserves that the board has established. Those that are highlighted in green are the ones that we can draw funds from to support our expenditures as part of our operating budget revenue. This chart shows what the original balances were as of June 30th, what the planned use was for the current fiscal year, 25-26, with most of that coming from unassigned fund balance. It also shows our planned use of reserves for 26-27. You'll note that this is heavier on our restricted reserves and less pulling from the appropriated fund balance. We also have shown you here what our planned use is expected to be for 27-28. So at the far right column, at the end of 28, we show you what our anticipated balances would be for these. So when we started our initial budget rollover on our initial revenue, we had a gap of $5.9 million. At this time, with our reduction in revenue and the changes we've made on the expense side, we have a current balanced budget of $392.259 million. Something else we do with the board each year during budget development is to prepare for you multi-year projections. So the first table shows our multi-year revenue projection. which shows it by source, local, state, federal, and our appropriated funds through appropriated fund balance and restricted reserves. Here we show the 26-27 total at 392.259. 27-28 is projected to be 394.4, 28-29, 396.6, and 29-30 at 398.8. This reflects an overall increase of just over 0.5% in our revenue year over year. In the far right column, you'll see the assumptions that we used in projecting that revenue. We are continuing to assume a flat tax levy and local revenue. We are looking at a 1% increase in state aid, a 1% increase in federal aid, and we continue to acknowledge the board's objective of a 5% decrease in reliance on one-time funds. Looking at our multi-year expense projections, we've bucketed this in some of our biggest categories, including salaries, benefits, debt service, our supplies, contract services, which includes tuition, as well as our transportation contracts and athletics. We have an expense projection now at 392.2. 27-28 is at 409, 28-29 is 424, and 29-30 is 439. Our expenditure increases are expected to be about 3.59%, or 3% greater than our revenue is projected to grow each year. When we consider our multi-year projections between revenue and expense, you'll see that the expense continues to outpace the revenue projections, so we will have to continue to look at ways to contain costs to match the revenue that we will have available. We've talked to you a couple of times at this point around the contract for excellence. These are not additional funds. These are funds that are restricted in how we can use them. This year, we are expecting another $4.1 million increase in the restriction of funds, so we will go to over $26 million in 26-27. We have been apprised that the state has a phase-in plan for this set-aside, or restricted funds, that will conclude at the end of 27-28, having the district at over $30 million of restricted funds. Again, this is not new money. So we have started to see an increase in 23-24, and you'll see it's a fairly aggressive jump from $9.3 million to $30.3 million, which is significant when we look at our basically tripled, more than tripled, our initial restriction. We sat at $9.37 million for a number of years, and there was no adjustment to that amount. And then the state started to make those adjustments, and they've made rather aggressive adjustments to those funds each year. We continue to use 5 different categories that are permitted. They include time on task, middle high school restructuring, teacher principal quality, our pre-K program, and English language learners. This year, it supports 130 positions, and they are listed here. You'll see a number of them are faculty positions to support our students. We also use the set-aside funds or restricted funds to support our pre-K program, including transportation expenditures and supplies, as well as a number of the pre-K staff positions that work with our students every day. This does include the employee benefits and payroll taxes, as well as retirement system contributions for the employees who are covered in these funds. For 26-27, we anticipate adding a series of positions, and a lot of these are aligned under the middle high school restructuring with the opening of our new CTE center. So we're looking at adding some of those core subject area teachers, as well as several specialized CTE positions. We have a couple of administrators in there and a guidance counselor dedicated to our CTE students. Community schools is our other source of restricted funds. This is a much smaller restriction. This is $837,000. Again, these are not additional funds, but they will continue to support 2 psychologists, 3 social workers, and 3 parent coordinators who service our children and families. Ms. Holder is going to share some information with you around staffing.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
So the first slide we're going to look at are the substitute expenses for the district. So in 2023, our expense was $3,193,253. In 2023 to the 2024 school year, it was $1,802,376. Last school year, it was $5,580,065. And in order to explain some of that, I did do a look, an analysis of our attendance. So one of the things that Dr. Manning and Onyx, I'm sorry, I was trying to think of your last name, met with me about was addressing staffing. And we sat down and we worked to proactively approach staffing. So we've been providing proactive approach and supports to our building principals, as well as our teachers, staff, faculty. And I'm happy to share that because of that proactive support, we've seen a change in this year's attendance, which has decreased our overall attendance absences by 17.4% and has decreased our sick call-out by 8.3%. And we're trending to a lower number of absences towards the end of the school year. So I wanted to just include that information along with the substitute. The next slide we have shows our staffing reduction for the 26-25 school year. We have 2 administrative positions that are being reduced, approximately 8.6 teaching positions, 5 support staff, and 20 teacher assistant positions. What I do want to note is 4 of the positions are retirement, 31 of them are currently vacant, and 1 is being reassigned. Next, we have our CTE needs. There are 6 identified positions that are needed for the CTE building. And we're reassigning and allocating positions to it. But if the state aid is not increased in the legislative budget, the board will have to consider other ways of funding the positions. That's it, thank you.
So as we look at our next steps over the next 2 weeks in preparing a proposed budget for the board's consideration, we're going to look at identifying funding for the 6 positions that we still need to fund for the CTE building. You'll notice on the previous slide, there was quite a list of positions. Many of them have been able to reassigned vacancies, or they are already funded by offsets in the budget elsewhere. We also need to finalize any other staffing changes we'll be making. We continue to work with our Exceptional Learners Division as well to see what their needs are. You've heard some of them in a previous presentation. And we are going to finalize these budget adjustments in preparation for the superintendent's proposed budget on March 24th.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I have some general questions, and maybe after some specific. So I was not here last year at this time, but I did hear about the budget consultant that the board hired for last year's budget development. So hired to review and help reach projections on the budget. So a couple of questions about that. Did the budget consultant provide the board with a presentation of their findings?
Yes.
Okay. Was the report given to the board in time to review before the board voted?
Yes, it was presented before the board voted.
Okay, so then the next, did the consultant determine that revenue and expense projections for 25-26 were reasonable and appropriate?
Yes, they did.
And the last question on this is, did the board budget consultant come up with any recommendations for changes in any of the figures or the processes that the district used?
They did not.
Thank you.
Ms. Bello?
Okay, thank you. I want to say this clearly for the public. These are all very big numbers, but we're not seeing the details behind them. We see totals, but not the backup that shows how these increases, cuts, revenue changes were calculated. As it pertains to the board members, without that documentation, no trustee can honestly say these numbers can be verified unless they're relying on blind faith. I asked for some of this information in an email on March 2nd, and to date, we don't have it. When will the board receive the detailed budget materials we need to meet our obligations as stated in the comptroller's audit report?
You want to grab that?
Do you want me to respond? So I will start a response, and then I'm sure Mr. Duray has something he wants to add.
Go ahead.
I would note that as the budget development process has gone, we've shared each functional area of the budget. And in that, we've outlined the staffing that's there. We've also shared the line by line for each of those functional areas. And we did it with an actual, a current year, and a projection for next year. So there has been detail in a line item way to the board on the expense side to date.
But that's not the supporting documentation. And, you know, we're
Ms.
just
Bello-
saying,
Ms. Bello, if I could, what document are you referencing that says you need supporting documentation?
okay. The audit report indicated that one of the biggest problems was unrealistic projections. So when I sent my email, I wanted to know specifically in the executive office, the Board of Education budget, and there was another one, but wanted to know how we were projecting for the next year. And we don't know that if we don't know what we actually spent and why we spent it.
Last year, on March 5th, we approved as a board a budget consultant to work us through these exact issues. The budget consultant worked with you. You were the board president. They presented a report. Where did the money come from? How was the money going to be spent? Line item by line item. We then voted on the budget, I think, somewhere in the middle of April. So we were in support of that budget then. I'm not quite understanding your question.
Okay, the question is, so much of what was in the audit report indicated that, you know, we had surpluses that we shouldn't have had and all kinds of stuff like that. The audit report indicated that the way we've been doing things is a problem and that we needed more transparency to the board members so that we knew what we were voting on. We're just voting on a summary, the bottom line. But we don't know, we don't have the documents to support how they came to those figures.
What was the last year of the audit report? The last fiscal year?
It was it didn't include this year's budget. So it was 2024, I believe,
23 to 24.
23 to 24.
Okay, so let's say there were issues. We then hired a budget consultant because of those issues for 25 to 26 to help us as a board work through that. And we all agreed on the findings of the people who helped us consult on the budget. So yes, issue, maybe there wasn't the right transparency. We hired somebody to make it transparent. Now we're here tonight explaining the fund balances that we have, what we're going to do with those fund balances. And I'm trying to understand where you're looking. You're looking for something more granular, but
I'm looking for the details, the supporting documentation.
Can you specifically say what supporting documents you're looking for? Because this is as clear as crystal to me. I'm not sure what you're asking for.
Okay.
And I'm not sure you're sure what you're asking for either.
You're funny.
I wasn't meaning to be funny.
Well, you read my emails. I sent very detailed email.
Well, if you sent the email, then you should know what you're talking about.
It was quite lengthy. So,
Ms. Bell, I could tell you what you sent. I'll give you an example. You wanted to detail expenditures. You wanted detail expenditures of, for instance, the superintendent's office.
okay, here, I have it right here.
The mouse,
Yeah,
you want to go up or down?
I want to go to the beginning of it.
This is the beginning of
No. This is, I want to,
the letter.
okay, so my email said that in light of the comptroller's audit findings and the board's responsibility to ensure that the 25-26 budget is based on accurate, transparent, and realistic spending information, I'm requesting detailed expenditure reports for the following: the superintendent's office, the district clerk's office, the Board of Education budget, and all executive-level offices that maintain independent budget lines. For each of these offices, please provide the projected 26-27 budget amounts currently planned or drafted for the respected budget lines. This will allow the board to compare actual spending to projected needs, consistent with the comptroller's audit findings and our responsibility to ensure realistic budgeting. For all offices listed above, please provide this year's expenses to date. I'm just trying to
You want the vendor?
Oh.
Yeah. You want
There's
the
more.
vendor amount paid?
Yeah, what I was asking for in these specific lines was the vendor or individual paid, the amount paid, the date of the payment, and the description of the expenditure, so we know what we're spending on, if it's necessary, if it's not necessary, and so we can see where we are. This is the type of detail that the trustees must have. Otherwise, you're basically voting with blind faith. And that's not, the recommendations by the comptroller are not suggestions. So it's not optional. We have to do this. That's why I'm trying to get us to comply with the comptroller's audit report. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Bergarelli?
Thank you. Yeah, so information you're asking for, if I could ask Ms. Roaring, do we receive a monthly claims audit report that goes over every single payment and confirms that only the approved payments are processed? Do we get that every month?
You do.
Would that cover some of the information?
So the supporting warrants provide all that information. It indicates who the payment was made to, the amount, the date, and the nature of that payment. And that is provided as a supplement to the claims audit report as the board's designee to approve all payments before they are made.
And we get that monthly?
You do.
Okay. And I'm sorry, and we received the detailed warrant reports which show every approved payment, correct?
They do.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like what we're looking for, what you're asking for, correct?
What I wanted it for each, like when we get
We're
the,
not having-
Covers
we're not
everything
having
that we spend.
conversations. Ms. Roaring answered the question. Mr. Howard?
Thank you, Mr. President. So, Ms. Roaring, does the budget receive monthly budget reports and revenue status reports? And if so, how do we receive those?
So the board receives each month from the treasurer, a treasurer's report, as well as budget and revenue status reports for multiple funds that show where we are year-to-date for expenditures and revenue by line in the budget.
Each month?
Yes.
Okay. And also, budget transfer reports from the district treasurer are included in those reports, correct?
Yes, the board receives a monthly budget transfer report as part of the district treasurer package for the general fund. That includes all transfers that have been approved by the board and those that are under $50,000 that happen without board approval.
So we have access and we receive those reports every month.
You do.
What else are we looking for, Ms. Bello? I'm confused.
I wanted it separated by each budget line.
Wait,
When we
wait,
get-
wait,
when we
excuse
get the
me, excuse me.
warrants-
We're not going this way.
I'm sorry, I'm
We're
Ask
going
me a
this
question.
way. All right.
Because I'm trying to figure
Does
out
anybody
what
else have any
she's
questions?
asking.
Ms. Burks?
I think what's probably being meant to be asked is if the board received a line-by-line expense and revenue projection for the 25-26 budget prior to adopting the budget. Did they receive that?
They did.
Okay, thank you. Was that
And
what
they
you were
will for
asking?
26, 27 as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burks.
Mr. President.
Mr. Howard, go ahead,
So,
please.
Ms. Roaring, do these reports, do they give the expenditures and also the encumbrances according to each budget line?
Yes, they do. They show the remaining encumbrance and then the available balance by budget line.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Letitia?
Thank you, Mr. President. Did the board receive a budget presentation on February 10th that included the Superintendent's Office, Board of Education, District Clerk, Communications, Human Resources, Finance, Security, Facilities, and Transportation?
Yes, they did, and that presentation did include line-by-line budgets.
And furthermore, I'm sorry, I have like just a couple. Did that presentation include detailed information on staffing in each area?
Yes, it did.
And did that budget presentation include a line-by-line review for each area that includes fiscal year '25 actuals, fiscal year '26 budget, and fiscal year '27 request?
Yes.
And last one, did the written presentation document that was shared publicly in the budget workshop include explanations for any notable increases between fiscal year '26 and fiscal year '27?
Yes, it did.
Thank you, Ms. Roaring.
Thank you, Ms. Pallady. Ms. Bello?
My March 2nd request asked for actual spending detail in key executive offices. Without knowing what those offices actually spend this year, the board cannot judge whether next year's projections are realistic, inflated, or understated. The comptroller's audit requires trustee to review the underlying information, not just summaries. So I would just like to know if we are going to get any further detail or if not.
Thank you. I have a question, Ms. Roaring.
Yes.
Is it the board's responsibility to exercise oversight of district finances or daily management of district finances? And this goes straight to governance versus operations, which is getting blurred. Governance is a budget that's approved for a line item amount. Okay. Governance is, we approve a budget, which we did for 25 to 26. We hired a consultant for $30,000. If in that budget is a line item of $5,000 for exercise bikes in the gymnasium, our goal or our responsibility ends at appropriating that money. At that point, it becomes operations. If operations wants to buy 10 bikes that cost $500, or one bike that costs $5,000, that's not our responsibility, that granular responsibility. And it keeps on getting blurred, and that's not governance versus operations. Am I off point on that, Ms. Roaring?
My understanding is that the board is responsible for exercising oversight. The board has appointed a claims auditor who reviews every single claim that's made before it's paid for reasonableness, appropriateness, correct budget code, anything that shouldn't be there, the right address, and ensures that the purchasing process was followed. And those findings are reported to the board every month. Payments are not processed that are deemed unaccepted by the claims auditor. It's not possible based on our financial software setup.
So there's a number of controls in place,
Yes, there are.
and the claims auditor is a employee of the board.
Yes, they are. They are completely separate from the business office. We exercise no oversight or direction of the work.
So in reality, very factually based, the board is already approving every single expenditure.
Via their claims auditor or designee, yes.
Correct. Okay, thank you. I have a question for Ms. Holder.
Okay. Ms. Holder.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
You had mentioned 2024 to 2025, basically $5.6 million in substitute expenditures. Then you started 17.4% decrease is what we're looking at in the year we're tracking right now. Is there, based on your 17.4%, is there a projection how that would change that $5.6 million number?
So I would have to have the calculations done. I didn't know I was going to need that, but I can get that to you.
I would like to see that, how that's
Okay.
tracking forward, because it's, except for with the exception of 1 year, $5.6 million for substitutes is extremely high, but I'm also encouraged by 17.4% reduction, which is very good.
Okay.
Anyone else? Mr. Levinstein?
A couple of points I'd like to make. Mr. President, I realize that it was a big jump on the 5 million.
Excuse me,
But-
can I just offer one quick clarification on that?
That's what I was going to do, that it's only general fund
Yes.
monies
Yes.
that's on those three items, because there were other funds that was used to pay substitutes. So it may, if you looked at the total, not what came from general funds, it might have been 5 million for all 3 years.
We can go back and do an all-funds approach that includes those special one-time dollars that covered substitute expense to do a year-over-year comparison, and then also provide this year's year-to-date as a separate information point for the board.
Okay, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
So I think we all here know what Ms. Bello wants, and I have a question for Ms. Roaring. The offices that she wants to get what was spent, to me, that is a minute part of our budget. I mean, I don't know if it's as little as 1% of our budget, or maybe 5%. I don't think it's more than that for those executive offices that she wants to look at. If someone really wanted to get transparency and understand what's going on, they would look at larger items, I would think. But is that a small part? Is that a small percentage of our total budget?
So we will be presenting the three-part budget, and so we present the superintendent's proposed budget at the next meeting, and typically that administrative area, which would include the board, the superintendent's office, communications, legal services, as well as finance and HR and a couple of other areas, is around 9% of the total budget. We consistently spend the vast majority of our funds in the program area, which includes items that really support our students, from student supports and faculty and staff positions, building administration, transportation, athletics. That is the vast majority of the budget. The other small area of our budget is capital, which reflects our debt service and our operations and maintenance area.
But that's not what was asked for. I mean, not
No, the focus was-
HR, and it was only a part of what you just said.
Right.
Okay. So one other point, Mr. President, if I can. So there's 19 teaching assistants that we're looking to obsolete their positions? Or teacher aide, I'm sorry, teacher aides?
No, they're teaching assistants.
They're teaching assistants.
They're teaching assistants that are currently vacant, and that is something we are looking at reducing, yes.
Okay, so are they vacant because they're not needed, or are they vacant because they cannot be filled, that position?
So, as the superintendent said, both.
So I understand you might be eliminating the position, even though it's not filled, but it still may be needed. Is it because if you don't obsolete that position, it's still in the budget and you may have to allow revenue to cover that even? I mean, we don't want to lose those positions if it's people that we need. So in other words, if money is found and people start applying, then we have to recreate these jobs, correct?
So the short answer to your question is yes. Essentially, the IEPs drive the need for teacher assistant or teacher aides. What we currently have in this budget, we have an abundance of teacher assistant positions that we have not been able to fill, so those positions remain vacant. As the need arises, we would add those positions back into the budget, but at this time, both of those things are true. We cannot get teaching assistants, as well as there's no one who will be laid off in any of those positions.
I understand
Can
that.
I just provide one quick clarification in
Sure.
there, please? So the positions here that are listed as the 19 teaching assistants are associated with first grade, which is something that we are not maintaining. And yes, if we were to maintain those positions, we would have to identify revenue, and at this time, we don't have the revenue to cover those positions.
Thank you.
Mr. Howard, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, Ms. Roaring, my question to you. So, have you received throughout the course of the year emails or questions from any board members that they don't understand the reports, they need clarification on the reports, or they're just not receiving the reports? Or did this just hit where people having questions in regards to line items and information that we're receiving on a regular basis? And I'm assuming they haven't been receiving it, but have you had communications with any board members?
I have not had communication for clarification on any of the financial information that's prepared and sent by the claims auditor or the treasurer.
Has anyone reached out to you to tell you that they're not receiving them?
No.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Howard. Dr. Manning, go ahead.
Thank you. If you can, for the community, just explain, there's a lot of the comptroller said that we should do this. Could you explain the role and what perhaps some of the recommendations are from the comptroller's office so we can make sure that we have accurate information in the public?
So I will do a very high level, because I was not prepared to speak in detail to that this evening. But we will be meeting with the board's audit committee to present our corrective action plan as is required. The state comptroller, as with our external and internal auditors, make recommendations to the district every year. If they have recommendations, the district, with approval of the audit committee and ultimately the board, has a response to those recommendations. I do want to note that this audit period was from 2019-20 fiscal year to 23-24 fiscal year. There were a number of people, both in the superintendent's position and the CFO position at that time, and we have been consistent in how we have been estimating our budgets as we go forward, which was stated by the budget consultant to be reasonable, appropriate. So there have been some statements made about the level of information that's to be provided. We believe that we are providing a level of detail. One of the things we changed this year in the budget development process was to provide last year's actuals. So you have that comparison point as well.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Roaring, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 3.1, executive session. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby recesses into executive session for the following purpose: matters made confidential under FERPA, matters leading to the employment of particular employees or corporations, employment history of employees or corporations, collective bargaining under the Taylor Law, and to obtain advice from legal counsel. Could I get a motion and a second to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. DeRay.
Yes.
Mr. Howard, Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a Thank you. We're back in session. Item 3.3, the Pledge of Allegiance, tonight led by Mr. Levinstein. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levenstein. Before we get into the balance of the meeting or the balance of the agenda, I spend a lot of time in between meetings, going to schools, meeting people, going to community activities. So I just wanted 3 observations real quick. I met a taxpayer recently at a Kiwanis meeting, and we were talking about the school district, and I always ask anybody I meet, what do you think? And generally, the comments are very, very good. This particular taxpayer had a daughter in school, I believe a senior, and he was ecstatic because due to Newburgh, she earned enough college credits to offset $30,000 in college tuition, which is absolutely amazing. So that's the type of thing that happens here. On the other end, the younger end, opportunity to attend a couple of Black History Month presentations by Mr. Howard. I've never done that before. So we were at a 6th grade class, Mr. Howard was presenting, and when Mr. Howard is presenting, it's really quite something to watch. The kids are extremely engaged. But it was a 6th grade class, and there was also some of our special needs students there. There was a one-on-one kid, one-on-one support. I'll name him E. I'm not going to use any names, but I will tell you this. During the presentation, Mr. Howard was asking about various things, and then he engages the students and said, somebody tell me about Dr. Martin Luther King. So all I know about this particular student is he does not engage a lot. He's kind of quiet. Well, all of a sudden, E makes a presentation of about 45 to 60 seconds on the history of Dr. Martin Luther King, to the point that we were on the sidelines along with his teacher, mouth open, watching this young man present himself. That's something else that we offer in Newburgh. That was communication, that was making a connection with a kid, and that was very special, and thank you, Mr. Howard. And the last one is we're doing strategic planning in the district. It's a committee of about 80 people. Many of them I don't know, but I was very happy to be invited. And the first day I was sitting at a table, and there was a teacher there. I had never met her. She's from Bombville, Miss Jennifer Santana. And it turns out she's been teaching 30 years of pre-K at Bombville School. So we get talking, and our students are there too. Tina Wang was there, along with Ryan, along with Jamades, and several other students. Well, their supervisor, Ms. O'Neill, makes them stand up when they speak. So Tina was answering a question, or making a presentation actually about something. Teacher says, "Is that Tina Wang?" I said, "Yeah, that's one of our students." So this is 14 and a half years later. So at lunchtime, I said to Tina, I said, your teacher from Bombville's there. She said, "Hey, that's impossible. That was 14 and a half years ago. That can't be." So I said, "No, that right there." So Tina went over, and let's call it the moral of the story. It was like they saw each other yesterday. And what's special to me is I often talk about teachers and the bond they have with students. 14 and a half years, and it was like they saw each other yesterday. And Tina, very special moment. Thank you. We're moving on now. Mr. McGrath's going to help us out, but we have a new screen in all different languages, so
yeah. So
tell
I
us
think
what's new.
So this is, if you're watching this at home, the screen is off camera. Dr. Manning Campbell and I had a conversation, and I think this came from this board originally. The idea of how can we make board meetings more inclusive, especially to our population that may not speak English. Like, what can we do to help people have a voice in this process? And so if you're at home and you're watching these board meetings, it's on YouTube, you can put on subtitles and you can put on whatever language you want. So if you speak French or Arabic or Spanish or any language, YouTube will translate that. But if you're here, you don't have that option. So if you're in person, how can you know what's going on in a board meeting if you don't speak English? So we now have a board up, and this is where today's our first night. We're doing this live to see what this looks like. So as I'm talking, you see an English version, you see a Spanish version, and you see an Arabic version. And so things are being translated live, which is incredible. So you may say, well, why do we have an English version up here as well? We all speak English here. Well, if somebody needs or wants to come up and speak at the mic who doesn't speak English and they speak Spanish or they speak whatever language, it will translate for us. So we want to give a voice to everyone, and that's what this technology does, which is a really, and again, this came from the board and the superintendent, and now we have it.
Just a quick question. Is this something that we'd be able to move to other buildings or other meetings or things like that to where we're dealing with the public that may not speak English?
So that's a great question. In fact, in our registration department, we have like smaller versions of these, or tabletop versions where people can do one-to-one. And as we get to know the technology and really kind of, we want to make sure that we're going to roll this out. The idea would be that to bring it to more and more locations. And yeah, this is exactly the plan. We want to get everyone, we don't want language ever to be a barrier for people to be part of their school system.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGrath. Thank you, Mr. Levinstein. Mr. Howard, I know you have something to
Yeah,
share.
thank you, Mr. President. So I just wanted to expound on that opportunity that we had to share with the Heritage Middle School students. It was such an incredible opportunity for me as an adult, me as someone from the city of Newark, born and raised, to actually go into one of our buildings and have conversations with some of our scholars, sixth graders, mind you. And it just goes to really impress upon us the importance of what we do with our children and how we engage with them. Because this young man that we're referring to, the young boy we're referring to, when I got into a back and forth with him, we're engaged, he almost started to recite the I Have a Dream speech. And there's parts of that I don't remember. And I'm sitting there looking at him and I'm like, wow, this is an incredible young man right here. Then after the class, that's when the teacher came up to us and explained to us that this kid was a one-to-one, that he was a high need. And I said, you got to be kidding me. And I said, and a lot of times we as lay people don't really understand what's going on in the classroom. We don't understand the services that are provided to our children. And a lot of times we may think one thing and it's something different. I just say that to say all of our scholars, like I tell them, I feel all of our scholars are geniuses. All of them. All of them. It's just, it's up to us as adults to go in and pull it out. And so I come in here this evening and I saw these papers in front on my desk. And Mr. McCoy gave it to me. This was thank you notes from all the children in that classroom. And if you can read some of the stories, some of the stuff that they're saying inside, it's just something that I will keep forever. But it's just, I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Hall for inviting me as a speaker. But bigger than that, thank you to the scholars who sat there and engaged and had an incredible exchange with a 64-year-old man. and real talk, they taught me a lot that day. As I said, as we pour into our young people, they pour back into us. And I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Hall. Thank you to the sixth graders at Heritage Middle School. Thank you to the administrators over there. And just, thank you in general. We have some incredible scholars in our district. And every day that we're able to remove an obstacle that allows them to, at some point in time, walk across Academy Field, is a day worth doing. So thank you very much.
All right, we have something very special next. We're mixing it up a bit. Dr. Campbell will introduce it.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. That was an incredible story. Thank you so much. I actually want to read some of your cards. Dr. Freeman Mack, we are community members. Thank you for allowing and trustees us to flip the agenda a little bit. We have a very special student, and Dr. Freeman Mack will speak to you a little bit about our Black History Month presentation. We did not get a chance to present to you last time based on our snow, and we moved the meeting to accommodate additional folks at the last board meeting. So we do have a student and a presentation, and I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Freeman Mack. Thank you.
I don't know if it's fine for me. Okay, so good evening, and Dr. Campbell did allude to it. We've had a lot of snow, folks. We are still celebrating Black History Month in many of our buildings because we had to keep postponing the dates and postponing dates. So we're in March and we're still celebrating Black History Month. And we did have something magical planned, but we still do. So the slide presentation is going to show you some of the things that have gone on in the buildings. So it's going to scroll. But the big part is I love string instruments. And Joseph Vega, this young man behind me, he's a student at Maine, plays the violin. He's going to play for us tonight as we're watching the presentation. Come on, Joseph.
Dr. Freeman Mack, before he starts, so as we were coming back from executive session, he was in the hallway. And I said to him, I said, "Hey, are you good at that?" He said, "Yes." He claimed it. He said, he didn't shy away from it. He said, "Yes, I'm good at this." I thought that was incredible.
You gave the right answer. See?
Phil, he was right.
I would like to thank our directors for putting the slide presentation together, and also to our director, Ms. Kristen Johnson, who was able to ensure that Joseph Vega could be here tonight. Joseph, thank you. You're amazing.
Mr. Howard, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to say, as I look at the slide and a lot of things that I saw happening in our district in the month of February and continuing in the month of March, I just want to commend the district. I want to commend the different buildings who have participated in the African American History Month. And it just goes to something that I always say when speaking with young people and speaking to adults. Black history is not about 28 days out of a month. It's about something that happens year-round. It's history, it's American history. It just happened to have been completed or done by people of African American descent, but it's a part of American history. Just as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month and all other cultures, I think it's something that as a district we're getting better at, and I would like to just continue in that direction and appreciate, respect, and understand who we are and the beautiful diversity that we have in our district, in our communities, and in our buildings. So I want to say thank you, Superintendent, your team, our building principals, our teachers, and everybody who touches our students, and most of all, our students, for the work that they've done in understanding African American history. Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving on to item 4.1, public comment on agenda items. Mr. McCoy will call the list.
First person signed up to speak on agenda items is Ms. Carla Johnson. Next person signed up is Ms. Tracy Wallace.
I'm Tracy Wallace. I live in the city of Newburgh. Today, I am speaking as a community member, not as a representative of my employer or any other committee or association that I am on. Today, I'm speaking on agenda item 9.2, potential Board of Education candidates information packets available. I'm requesting an amendment to policy 2121, board member qualification, to include not more than one member of a family shall be a member of the same Board of Education in any school district. Many New York schools, including schools in the Hudson Valley, have this language in their board member qualification policy, although not required. This helps ensure that board decisions remain fair, independent, and represent the entire community. It prevents situations where family relationships could influence votes, discussions, or hiring decisions, and helps maintain public trust in the district's leadership. I'm also asking to add a definition of a family. Some suggestions to that definition would include spouse, domestic partner, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, children, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews. We are in a district where, unfortunately, we are sometimes politically motivated, but there are districts that have this language, and one district would be Monroe-Woodbury actually has this language in their policy. And so if you look at the amount of schools in New York that have this policy, you will see that there are a lot of school districts that see having multiple family members on a board can be a barrier in making decisions. So I don't want people to look at this as I'm attacking anyone personally, especially for the board members on here, that some may be related and some may want to pick up those packets that are related, but having this language and adding this language to that policy would prevent a lot of these issues that we have seen in the past. So I'm asking the district to review that policy and again, and look to Monroe, Woodbury, and other districts that do have this language that, don't have the same issues that we have in our district, where it's maybe fired under, different political motivations. This is 100% just keeping our board inclusive and diverse and representative of our entire student body. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace.
There's nobody else signed up to speak on agenda items. If anybody else that would like to speak on agenda items, please come to the podium. Okay, we'll move on to non-agenda items. First person to sign up on non-agenda items is Ms. Carol Maida.
Good evening, everyone. In the past few months, I have watched the professionals and the board members working together to present our community with informative presentations, goals, and acknowledgments of achievement. So thank you to those of you working on behalf of our students and educators with integrity and professionalism. However, we have two current trustees whose presence can be characterized as complete disinterest unless there is an opportunity to malign the district with rhetoric of distrust and half-truths. The letter to the editor written by one of the current board members a few weeks ago, under the guise of transparency, was a blatant attempt to discount the achievement of our students and educators, to score cheap political points at the expense of the very people she should be here to serve. Furthermore, she implies some nefarious intent specific to the district, which is just false. The change to the state standards does not invalidate the progress and hard work that was being recognized. Another trustee has not lifted her head from her phone or computer during a meeting in months. I'm not sure if that's boredom, total disinterest, or just disdain. These two board members are from the same family. Now we have the mother and sister of another current board member, both of whom have previously served and whose behavior upon leaving the board was not only an embarrassment, but also exposed the district to legal liability. They're announcing they are running again. It's inconceivable that anyone of good faith believes it is in our community's best interest to have two families control a board of a district responsible for nearly $1 billion budget. It will allow two families to vote as a block with virtually no checks and balances. Putting aside who these candidates are, this idea would have serious consequences, even with the best candidates. We need to pass a resolution that would ensure this can't happen now and in the future. So let's continue moving forward and not fall back into the chaos of an incestuous board composed of multiple family members. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person signed up to speak is Ms. Laverne Davis.
Good evening. My name is Laverne Davis. I'm a parent, an educator, and a resident of New Windsor. As we are going into the school board election season, I'm here tonight to speak about governance and public trust. School boards are entrusted with making decisions that affect thousands of students, families, and staff members. Because of that responsibility, the public must have confidence that decisions are made independently and without undue influence. Across New York State, it is widely recognized that having family members serve on the same governing board can create the appearance of a voting bloc. Even if that is not the intent, when relatives serve together, it can raise reasonable questions in the community about independence, transparency, and fairness in decision-making. This is why many districts avoid this situation altogether and adopt governance standards that ensure board members act fully independently of family relationships. Tonight, I am asking this board to consider adopting a clear standard moving forward that family members should not serve on the board at the same time. This is not about individuals. It is about protecting the integrity of the board and maintaining public confidence in its decisions. Our community deserves to know that every vote cast at this table represents an independent voice, acting solely in the best interests of students and the district as a whole. Establishing a clear policy on this issue could strengthen trust, eliminate the perception of coordinated voting, and bring our district in line with governance practices used in many other places across the state. Strong institutions rely not only on good intentions, but on fair standards that protect transparency and accountability. I urge the board to take this issue seriously and to consider adopting a policy that ensures family members do not serve simultaneously in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Miss Angela Paul Gato.
Good evening. My name is Angela Paul Gato, and I am a Newburgh Town resident, Newburgh City business owner, and I still have my youngest, a 9th grader, in this district. So surprise, I'm going to talk about the same thing at all of them. As elections are coming soon, I'm here tonight to speak about something that should concern every taxpayer and every family in this community: governance and conflict of interest on our Board of Education. School board exists for 3 simple reasons: to support the students, to support teachers and staff, and to make sure taxpayer dollars are used responsibly to benefit our classrooms. But when multiple members of the same family serve on the Board of Education at the same time, it creates a serious conflict of interest, or at the very least, the appearance of one. Even if every vote is technically allowed under current rules, the public perception is unavoidable. When family members vote together on issues affecting district leadership, district finances, and district policy, it undermines trust in the independence of the board. School boards are supposed to represent the community, not concentrate influence within a single family. This is not about personalities, it's about governance and public trust. In most organizations, public or private, clear policies exist to prevent situations where family members hold decision-making power over the same governing body. Those policies exist for one reason: to protect integrity and avoid even the appearance of favoritism or coordinated voting. Our districts should have the same standard. I strongly urge this board to develop and adopt a policy that prevents multiple family members from serving on the Board of Education at the same time. Not because anyone is incapable of serving, but because the structure itself creates an unavoidable conflict that damages confidence in district leadership. The community deserves a board that reflects many voices, many perspectives, and independent judgment. Most importantly, our students deserve leadership that is focused on their education, not internal alliance, power dynamics, or political agendas. This is an opportunity to restore trust and strengthen the governance of this district. Create a policy, protect the integrity of the board, and make sure situations like the past years cannot happen again. I know there's still space for improvement, but thank you for bringing back some normality to the board for this year, 25-26. It's truly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Tracy Wallace.
Hi, I'm speaking as a community member, as a parent. I just want to thank everyone who joined the Special Education Parent-Teacher Association meeting. We had over 25 participants. We have almost 38 participants and some that couldn't join for technical reasons, but we are now in pre-charter, SEPSA, and so excited for our district. So I just want to explain some facts of what this would do for our district. So I had a meeting with the Central Hudson Region PTA, and they informed me, well, actually they informed everyone at that meeting that this will bring grants, programs, a lot to our district that's going to be supportive. And so the PTOs out there and the PTAs, we want to be supportive of the PTOs and all the programming and grants and support that we're going to be getting from not only Hudson Valley, we're getting from New York State. New York State was on that call. We had Pine Bush on that call. We had surrounding area SEPSAs on that call so that they are supporting Newburgh. They said, hey, we are here to support you, Newburgh. We want to see this SEPSA, in charter. We want to work with you. So many people joined on that call. We had got New York State was on that call and said, hey, don't forget us, Newburgh. We're also on this call. We're here to support you, Newburgh. We want you to get this. We're so excited. So, I'm excited for our district. I'm excited how we pulled together. And, this SEPSA, when we talk about, nominating people and who's going to be on the board, you're going to see a SEPSA with, no politics on there. We are about bringing our district together. We are going to be joining, I'm reaching out to all the PTOs. I'm already in conversations with some PTOs that are in support of this, that understand that we are coming together as a district. We will have more information on when the charter meeting is. We do want to work with the district to ensure that all the students get the flyers in their book bags. We also want to work with the district, and we also want to work with board members to show how much support we're going to get. National support from the national PTA. This is going to bring so much programming, so much grants, so much things to our district. We're going to help our parents advocate at legislative for more funding, where I know in our budget we just had, we are going to advocate for more funding as parents, together, to ensure that our district is strong, our district is being supported, and our district is collaborating with everyone in the Hudson Valley, New York State, and national. I just want to thank everyone, and I hope that at the next charter meeting, we have more participants and more to come. Thank you.
If anybody else would like to address the board on non-agenda items, please come to the podium.
Hi, everyone. Sarah Maida, Town of Newburgh resident. So I want to echo what other folks have said without sort of rehashing it all. I agree that it is problematic when we have multiple family members on a board. I also agree that there's nothing, as I understand it, prohibiting one family from essentially sitting in all 9 seats, which to me seems pretty bananas, frankly. But so I guess what I have are some questions for the board that I hope that we can get answers to as the public, because it does seem to be something that there's enough concern about that maybe we can have a public conversation. And so what limited understanding I have is that there is a state law that prohibits this. The state law is limited to family members residing in the same household. What I don't know, and I hope maybe somebody can speak to or maybe ask for an opinion from legal counsel, is whether local districts have the ability to pass more stringent restrictions on who are eligible to who are eligible to be seated on the board. And so if there is the possibility of that, I hope that we can do that. And as other people have said, putting aside my concerns about any individual candidates, I think this is a problematic issue. And if there is the potential to tackle it locally, I think that we should do that. If we can't, and that's the state law and that's what it is, I understand that. But I would like to know that, and I think other people in the audience and the public would as well. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
If anybody else would like to address the board on non-agenda items, please come to the podium.
Go ahead, Mr. Livingston.
So I'm not on the policy committee, but I'm going to ask you, Mr. President, and Madam Superintendent, if this is something that could or should go to the policy committee and have a conversation with legal counsel and go through whether something like this is possible or not. And I'm just asking if that's something we should go forward with.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So, seeing that this is something that has come from the public and it's something that they want us to have, to give an opinion on or possibly address a policy in regards to that, I think I will make that part of our next agenda item in our policy committee meeting, and I will have that we will have that conversation with legal, and then we will come back with a report to the entire board, and then we can let the community know where we landed on it.
Thanks, Mr. Howard. All right, we're moving on to item 6.1, Superintendent's Update. Dr. Manning.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I know that I shared this for the last few meetings, but I wanted to share again and now add that all 3 teachers' contracts have been settled. For teachers, teaching assistants, and substitute teachers. Woo-hoo! We are awaiting ratification by members of the Newburgh Teachers Association. Once that occurs, the signed contracts will be shared with our Board of Education for consideration. I want to clarify a message that was shared earlier this month regarding emergency snow days. School districts across New York State are required to provide 180 days of instructional time to our scholars. The Newburgh Teachers Association contract agreement requires 188 of days of teaching or engaging in professional development. At this point in the school year, the district remains in compliance with the regulations of the New York State Department of Education. The letter shared with our community was intended to share our plan in the event that additional emergency days are needed this school year. Next, I would like to share an update to our high school leadership. Mr. Matteo Dotto and Ms. Susan Valentino will continue as co-principals of Newburgh Free Academy. However, Mr. Dotto will lead the new NFA CTE Center. Additionally, Mr. Matthew Spellman will lead the NFA North Campus. We are proud of the homegrown leadership that we have developed here in Newburgh and are looking forward to this next chapter as we open a new building and continue to grow as a community. Thank you very much.
Mr. Howard, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So that was a lot of great news, but can you break that down for me when you said 2 executive principals, a new principal, did you say assistant principal at North, and then a CTE? Can you break that down? Please.
Everything that I shared, and that's it? That's what you want to talk about?
'Cause
Not the
that's
contract
important.
settling?
The contract settlement was actually great news, absolutely. That was awesome.
I'm teasing. So, Mr. Dottle will lead the CTE campus. Ms. Valentino will be the main campus principal. She will remain there. Mr. Spellman will assume in the vice principal position, he will lead North. We are changing his building assignment. Mr. Dotto will continue to oversee North, West, and his location will be at the Career Technical Education Center.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good. All right. All right, under item 6, there's 6.2 to 6.9 for consideration. Would anybody like to separate out any of these items? Get a motion and a second on 6.2 to 6.9 then.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on these items? Mr. Levinstein?
So I was just wondering if we can get a brief explanation of the reason for these resolutions in regards to parochial and non-public schools in our district.
Mr. Levinstein, can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Just a brief explanation of why we have these resolutions tonight for voting on these items that regard parochials and non-public schools in our district.
So as a part of New York State Education Department, the district designates, New York Department of Education designates Newburgh and Lawrence City School District to oversee certain private and parochial schools' education pathways. So the pathways can be based on whether or not that institution takes certain standardized tests given by New York State or individual pathways selected as their certification that they are adhering to New York State standards. So we have several schools that fall within our district boundaries that we have to communicate with. They have to designate their pathway. We go on reviews. We look over their curriculum. We'll do instructional visits. It's an unfunded mandate, but we must do it. So this process has been complete for the year. And at the end, we vote on those pathways as being certified as the local Board of Education.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Lev. Any other discussion? Sir?
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Thank you. We are moving now to 7.1, which is board member community activity. Okay, so this is something we do every couple of weeks. We haven't done it, I think we skipped 1 week because it's very difficult to do on the small screen. So this covers January 28th to March 9th. And just for grounding, next slide if you could. Our mission as the Goldback community, we will educate and empower our students to build their futures and support their community. And our vision is creating voice, choice, and opportunity for impacting the future of all Goldbacks. And I think earlier this evening, we've already demonstrated that several times, some of the things that are going on within our district and why it's so important. So again, why trustee engagement matters. And again, this is a focus of the board, but board decisions are stronger when trustees see our schools in action. That's where the business takes place, in our schools. That's where the board is focused this year. Regular presence at school programs and community events keeps trustees connected to the people we serve. You see teachers, you see custodians, food service people. You meet so many people that work for us, our students. You get opinions from everybody, you get input, and it helps you make better decisions. Direct observation of classrooms and student programs provides valuable perspective for board discussions. It's one thing to sit around the table and say we appropriate money for a program, a reading program, for instance. It's a whole different viewpoint to go into the classroom and seeing the reading program being implemented with the students and seeing how they're engaged. Visible engagement by trustees helps build trust between the district and community. We're elected by people in the community. We represent them. They're expecting us to do the entire job, not just come to meetings, the entire job. Committees, going to schools, going to meetings, doing the job. And that's the next point. Board service includes engagement beyond required meetings, such as school visits, student programs, and community events. Next slide, if you could, please. Excuse me. Excuse me. So starting with events, community recognition and district events. This was January 31st. I think I've mentioned this before, but Mr. Sager put together a great recognition dinner for our security monitors. Next slide, if you could. One of our trustees attended this weekend the NYSUT Tier 6 event in Albany. Next slide, if you could. Student mentoring and leadership support. This is directly working with the students. A lot of this is Mr. Howard here. Mr. Howard spends an awful lot of time at NFA West. 8th graders at South Middle School, 6th graders at South Middle School, 6th grade cohorts of boys with suspension histories, and he works with them on a very, very consistent basis. I meet with the students that are on the board every couple of weeks right before the board meeting. Next slide, if you could. Some of the things attended: Horizon of Hudson Family Paint and Spud by multiple members, SMS Black History Month program, Temple Hill Academy Black History program, speaking to classes at Heritage for Black History Month, another Black History event at Heritage Middle School. Next slide, if you could. Student athletics, boys basketball, multiple trustees, girls basketball, multiple trustees. The next one goes to Mr. Bergarelli. Mr. Bergarelli has been with his cheerleading championships and traveling around New York State, and we thank him for that. Okay, good deal. Next slide. Board and district governance, why we're here. Policies meeting, board meetings, personnel meetings, curriculum meetings, public hearings for South Middle School, library committee meetings, agenda setting. These are the things we're responsible for. Next, if you could. We had a transportation discussion. The electric bus mandate was part of that discussion. We're having strategic planning meetings. We've had 2, and there's 4 before the completion of that part of the program. So we've had 226 and 35. Also, community engagement team at South Middle School on 3-6. Next slide, if you could, please. Community engagement, 6th annual Black History celebration, a call to action community discussion, Kiwanis dinner, Kiwanis breakfast. I'm mentioning the Kiwanis because they're so integrated into our school system. They're the people that are baking our bike gardens, and I found out today from Jay Beatty sitting in the back that it's our first nice day, and they're already out power washing a parking lot, getting it ready for painting. And if you haven't seen a bike garden, you are missing something special, along with bike helmets and so many things. So thank you very much, but a fantastic organization to be aligned with. Next, District Reading Initiative in the classroom. Dr. O'Grady, thank you so much. This has been fantastic, but we've been able to read to 2nd grade classes, Horizons on the Hudson, GAMS, New Windsor School, Valesgate School, 5 visit, 4 schools, multiple trustees participating. It has been, Dr. O'Grady selected 2nd grade, and she explained why, but when you work with the 2nd graders, you know why. It's just a perfect age for this. So it's going well, and we're going to do better for the rest of March and getting into April. Next slide, if we could wrap this up. Trustees participating in community engagement. This is important. This is voluntary engagement. No one makes you do this. It includes school visits, student programs, mentoring. I ask for 2 weeks before the meeting for people just to submit what they've done. The activities on the pages you've just seen were Ray Bergarelli, Letitia Politi, Phil Howard, Sade Burks, Mark Levenstein, and myself. So final slide. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you to the board members that do this, and thank you to the community for letting us do this.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I was just looking over at Ray, and he said something about the cheerleading championships. Our girls were able to win the our cheerleading team, because there's a young man on it also. So our cheerleading team, you said it was the first time ever?
Yeah, so first time winning Section 9, first time going to states.
Awesome, awesome.
In Binghamton,
And also-
so I'm trying to get those miles back. 70 cents a mile, I think, right now, gas expense.
And also, our girls won the Section 9 championship, and I believe they're playing tomorrow in Yorktown in the first round of the state championship. We need to give them a round of applause, too. So, Mr. President, I'm going to make a suggestion, and maybe you can make it a request, and then we can see what our superintendent does with this. But
No pressure.
I think that on a quarterly basis, we should get our leaders of these different, like the athletic director, our drama, our directors of the chorus and choir and instruments, and report out what our kids are doing each quarter, because our kids are showing out. I mean, we got some kids making all state. We got a team winning the Section 9 championship. If we can just get them to come to the board and report out quarterly on what our children are doing, so we can celebrate our kids more so. I know that they do what they do, but I think it's a great opportunity to come down in front of the board and celebrate our student population a little bit more.
Excellent.
Suggestion. Oh, okay, thank you.
Oh, it was that easy? Done? Okay. No, you didn't. Ms. Bello.
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. I want to clarify for the public that the school day events naturally occurred during the school day, and we fully expect that. And I applaud my colleagues that have the availability to visit the schools, read to the students, and those types of things. But those are optional opportunities for trustees. They're not requirements for board service. The essential work of trustees, policy review, preparation, oversight, and responding to the community is largely unseen and happens outside the school day. Committee meetings, however, are not optional. They are part of our statutory governance responsibilities, and they must be scheduled at times when all trustees can participate. Staff availability matters, but trustees must be the priority because the board, not the staff, is the governing body. Committee work is how trustees fulfill their legal oversight duties, and those duties cannot be delegated to employees. It's also important to be clear that daytime availability is not now, nor has it ever been, a requirement to run for or be elected to the Board of Education. When committee meetings are scheduled in a way that preclude a subset of trustees from participating, the issue is access, not engagement, and the public deserves that clarity. Participation patterns reflect scheduling decisions, not differences in commitment. I believe all 9 trustees on this board are committed to this district. Engagement should be supported through inclusive scheduling, not presented in a way that suggests unequal dedication. Committee meetings scheduled in ways that preclude a subset of trustees from participating are not a measure of engagement. They are a matter of access, and the public deserves to understand that distinction. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bello. We're now moving on to I'm sorry, Ms. Pallady, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'd just like to clarify for as many times that the false narrative is put out there, I'm going to correct it. No one told you that you couldn't have access to it. You stated that you would not take place in any committees at the beginning of this term in July. You were asked to be on committees, and you said you didn't want to. And to say that you don't have to do these things. You're right, we don't have to do these things. I commute an hour each way, 2 hours every day. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I coach, I raise 4 children. I don't get to bed, I'm on until at least 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I make time to get out there in my community. So you can have the laundry list of how you're the victim, but I'm gonna keep correcting your false narratives.
Ms. Bello.
If we're going to talk about clarity, we should talk about the reason this all started. The minority board was more than happy to serve on committees. And as normal, well, traditionally, the times for said committee meetings are set by the members of the committee so that it works for everyone. That is not what happened this year. I don't appreciate you misrepresenting that to the public. We were told that a unilateral decision was being made about the time that these meetings would be held, and it was 4:30 and before. I work till 5 p.m. I have to work to put food in my mouth and to pay my rent. Okay, so it is what it is. The meetings are when they are, but don't portray it to the community as if we had a choice. That time was set without consulting us. So let's just be clear.
Ms. Burke.
I would just like to add that I am on the policy committee, curriculum committee, and every time those meetings are being held or times are suggested, I am sent the times because I too work. I'm a single mom and I work a full-time job to feed me and my child, and I make it my business to attend those meetings, not only to attend those meetings, but when I am off work, on the weekends and at night, I am at events at these schools and within the community. Times are sent to me, and if I cannot make the time, the committee president suggests another time. Most of the days, I'm getting off of work at 4 o'clock, going to pick my son up here at committee meetings at 4:30. Sometimes I may be a little late, and then I'm attending board meetings at 5:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burke.
At my job as a teacher's assistant, certified for preschool. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. All right, moving on to 8.1. Tina?
Good evening, everyone. I did want to acknowledge Mr. Doer's anecdote about me meeting my preschool teacher. It's true, I fully was prepared to never see her again. Not in a malicious way, I just couldn't imagine a situation in which I would see her ever again or have her recognize me because I was 4 years old and also did not know English at the time. So I did not think that she would recognize me or remember my name. So it's just, I say that as a reminder that we should continue to support our staff and students so that they can keep making positive memories like this. And yeah, I'll just start with the slides. Oh yeah, daylight savings happened, so everyone's feeling pretty happy because the sun is out, the weather's good. Next slide, please. To expand on what Mr. Bergarelli got to see in person, oh no, the pictures aren't here. Oops. Last Saturday, our Goldbacks made school history by bringing NFA to states for the very first time, ending Monroe's 10-year winning streak in the process. Their victory at sections led to them placing 9th in the state, and when we thought they couldn't impress us further, they continued to hit 0, meaning their entire performance earned 0 deductions. That's a huge accomplishment in a sport where every detail counts and shows just how much dedication our coaches, athletes, and parents have put into our programs. Next slide, please. Behind the scenes, the team also hosted a cheer showcase to celebrate the girls before they headed to Binghamton. Youth cheerleaders, JV, and varsity sideline teams all came out to watch the competition team perform their routine and recognize the seniors. An especially tender moment was seeing the letters youth cheerleaders had written to Our Lady Goldbacks, wishing them luck before competing. A reminder that sports at Newburgh should go beyond competition to foster mentorships, community, and connections across generations. Next slide, please. In the same weekend, our Junior Air Force ROTC cadets traveled to Dayton, Ohio to compete in a national drill championship against teams from across the country. Our cadets placed 5th overall and top 10 finishes in personal inspection, dual arm inspection, and color guard. They don't get attention enough, but their discipline, teamwork, and professionalism did our district proud on a national stage. Next slide, please. This Sunday as well, Newburgh students gathered at Orange County Community College to recognize their nominations for the Sojourner Truth Award. From our middle schools and high schools, students were awarded on categories of service, resilience, athleticism, mathematics, the sciences, English language arts, and creative expression. Students felt encouraged to continue working hard, I was told, as many peers expressed that they felt very appreciated. Next slide, please. As always, I want to dedicate a section to the arts at NFA as students eagerly push for promotions of Matilda. Sets done by our stage crew and assisting teachers never fail to amaze, and this year I'm told they're preparing new laser light technology for audiences to enjoy. And a quick note on the topic of technology, the Girls Across team is super excited for the new AI field liner. That's going to be such a quick fix, especially all the rain in spring and having to reline it over and over again. We'll just get it right the first time. Of course, along with other sports team who utilize the North Field. They know our pain. The newly established English and Arts Honor Society, now along with our other honor societies, prepare to welcome inductees as spring approaches. English and art weren't offered when I began high school, but seeing how students have found community through diversified programs reassure me that incoming freshmen will have the ability to find like-minded peers and their respective hobbies and interests. Next slide, please. Oh, there's pictures on this slide. Okay. At West, individual exhibitions were held as students presented to families and friends. Freshman Advisory led the school in a whole group meeting in February, which included some highlights of Black history events in the district, as well as an opportunity to spread kindness and love for Valentine's Day. Further, Senior Advisories hosted a February morning meeting which highlighted Lunar New Year. After learning about the luck the color red represents, they learned to make origami cranes. February's annual Poetry Slam was postponed and will be held this Friday, March 13th, and the student-led events include original student poem recitations, as well as gallery walks for viewing and visual art created by the talented students in ceramics, photography, and digital art classes. And next slide, please. That's all I have prepared for you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Wang. All right, moving on to item 9, Clerk of the Board.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the approval of the minutes from February 25th.
Thank you. Get a motion, a second to
So moved.
accept the accept the minutes. Thank you. Call the roll.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray.
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello.
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli.
Yes.
Potential Board of Education candidates, if you're interested in running for the Board of Education, packets are available in the clerk's office. You need to get 100 signatures from qualified voters in the district. Those petitions are due back in the clerk's office the last Wednesday in April, and that is April 29th. That concludes my items, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Moving on to item 10, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources. Ms. Holder, good evening.
Good evening. Mr. President, I'd like to walk on a name for item 10.21.
We should separate that item out. What item is that?
10.21.
10.21. Okay. Would anybody like to separate out any other item? Ms. Bello, you were first.
10.14, 10.
Wait, 10.14.
10.20, 10.21, 10.23.
2.3, okay. Just let me review that with you. 14, 20, 21, 23. Mr. Howard.
10.19?
10.19?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Bello.
10.1, Schedule F, line 1. I don't know how you would break it down.
You can't do that, right?
No, 10.1 would have to be on the floor and then amended first, so we have to separate it out.
We could separate out 10.1, and then it has to be amended. Mr. Levinson, go ahead.
10.3.
10.3. Maybe we should just do them all separately. Okay, we have 10.1 to 10.23 minus 10.01, 10.3, 10.19, 10.14, 10.21, 10.20, and 10.23. Okay, get a motion and a second on the remaining resolutions.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the remaining ones? Mr. Levinstein, go ahead, please.
So, Ms. Holder, I know that there's a lot of separated items, but I'm going to read it as it was presented to us. Is the following an accurate description of the Human Resources agenda being presented tonight? HR items A through I, including appointments, change of statuses, leave of absences, retirements, resignations. A budget transfer, approve a separation agreement, rescind and approve after-school elementary literacy and numeracy program appointments supported by the Federal Challenge Grant, rescind and approve Neon Nights appointments program supported by 21st Century Grant, rescind and approve Empire After School program appointments supported by Empire State After School Project Grant, approve Horizon Project Student Engagement After School appointments supported by McKinney-Vento Grant, and approve the following: Career and Tech Ed curriculum writing appointments, home teacher appointments, spring athletic coaches, supervisor of exceptional learners, her time to play after school literacy, numeracy, and social emotional learning appointments, an independent medical exam, an athletic department yoga instructor, supported by the Empire State After School Project Grant, academic tutoring supported for non-public schools, South Middle School Saturday Academy appointments supported by School Improvement Grant, 504 Chairperson, Director of Athletics appointment, Capital Projects Manager appointment, salary amendment for Director of the Newburgh Free Library, and tenure recommendations, and 21st Century, what will be an add-on, 21st Century Program Facilitator appointments supported by the 21st Century Grant. Ms. Holder, is this correct?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the remaining resolutions? All right, the vote is on 10.1 to 10.23, minus 10.1, 10.3, 10.14, 10.19, 10.21, 10.22, and 10.23. And 10.20, okay, and 10.20. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. DeRay?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 10.1, get a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? It's amend. What would you like to amend?
Schedule F, line 1, table
F is in Frank?
F is in Frank, line 1.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor to amend 10.1, item F, and item 1. Get a motion and a second on that? Motion and a second to amend. No, you already amended. We need a
So
motion and a
moved.
second to amend.
A second.
Okay.
Roll call to amend to remove 10.1F number 1. Mr. Howard?
No.
Mr. Levinstein?
No.
Ms. Politi?
No.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
No.
Ms. Burks?
No.
Mr. DeRay?
No.
That amendment fails.
Thank you. 10.1 is still on the floor, correct?
Could you ask for an executive session?
Yeah, 10.1 is still on the floor, sir, yes.
Okay, get a motion and a second on 10.1.
No, excuse me, sir.
So
Point of order?
ahead.
10.1 is on the floor as is. Unless there's another amendment, we could just call roll call on 10.1. The motion to amend the table was defeated, sir.
We are going, okay, a motion and a second for executive session, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby recesses into executive session for the following purpose: matters made confidential under FERPA, matters leading to the employment of particular employees or corporations, employment history of employees or corporations, collective bargaining under the Taylor Law, and to obtain advice from legal counsel. Estimate 15 minutes.
Point of order, sir. We need to vote.
Go ahead.
Roll call on executive session. Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. DeRay?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
All right, we are back in public session, and we are at item 10.1. Mr. Levinstein.
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the motion to table A1F1.
Thank you. The vote.
Second.
Roll call on the motion to reconsider. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. DeRay?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to table 10.1, Schedule F, Line 1.
A second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this item?
No discussion on tabling, sir.
Go ahead.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
No.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
No.
Mr. DeRay?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Now, 10.1.
The rest of it.
All right, we're at item 10.1. Get a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on 10.1. Call vote.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. DeRay?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Thank you. We are at item 10.3. Get a motion and a second on 10.3.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 10.3. Mr. Levinstein.
So, Ms. Roaring, I was just surprised by seeing this in HR. This is a budget transfer that we do often, but I don't recall it ever being in the human resources section, and it's always in finance. Or actually, maybe, I'm sorry, that question doesn't belong to you. Does it belong to Ms. Holder, or does it belong to you?
I can start with an answer to the question. If you have specific questions about the transfer itself, that would go to Ms. Holder.
No, I don't have any specific questions about why or should it be transferred, just why the item is in where it's in.
So we develop our budget decentralized. Each division chief is responsible for preparing their budget request and managing it throughout the year. You'll notice there are also budget transfers under curriculum and instruction this evening, and we've had them under exceptional learners in recent meetings. So each division chief is responsible for reallocating funds within their lines if they need to cover expenses, and that's why you see the budget transfers in various areas of the agenda.
So are you saying going forward, if there's going to be budget transfers, well, firstly, it may be across divisions too. It may come out of a curriculum line item and go into an HR line item at times.
If there were any reason to move across divisions instead of within divisions, that would be presented under the finance area because we would have to execute that transfer. But each of the executive team members is responsible for managing and administering their area of the budget throughout the year.
Okay, I understand, and Mr. Doré, this is probably, and I'll add that to my addition of why I think we should go back to a robust committee meetings to go through this instead, and so the curriculum committee would see it before it comes here, or the finance committee, whichever one does. But I understand what you're saying, and it's just that it surprised me that it came up today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levenstein. On 10.3, any further discussion? Yes, sir.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi.
Yes.
Thank you. We're at item 10.14. Get a motion and a second on 10.14.
Second.
Discussion on this item? Ms. Bello.
Yes, I just want to note for the record that Education Law 913 authorizes the board, not the superintendent, to require a medical exam. Because the board is the decision maker, trustees must review the factual basis before voting. There has been no supporting documentation for this, so I cannot support it.
Thank you, Ms. Bello. Any further discussion on 10.14? Ms. Politi?
Again, I'd like to refute the false narrative being put out there. The board was advised of all the legal information that we could possibly receive under HIPAA privacy laws. No one was withheld information. What you're looking for is not available to the board. Again, it's the granular stuff, not the oversight stuff.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Ms. Bello, your mic's on.
Roll call, Ms. Thomasina Bello,
No.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello.
No.
Thank you. We're at item 10.19. Get a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on this item? Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I just wanted to separate this out because I've been watching and been taking clear notice of what Mr. Herrera has been doing as the interim athletic director, and I'm so glad that we have moved forward to make him our athletic director. He is doing an incredible job. He is doing some of the things that we wanted done in our athletic department, and he is just a robust individual in regards to our student population and the community. I just want to welcome him to our district full-time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Any further discussion on 10.19? Call it, sir.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello.
Yes.
Thank you. We're at item 10.20. Got a motion and a second on 10.20.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 10.20. Ms. Bello?
Yes, when I reviewed this item, I noticed there is no contract, there is no job description, and I also know that not too long ago, we did renew a contract, or, yeah, kind of renew the contract for the consultant for this. So, being that the forensic audit did flag these two, this position as a possible duplication of services, we have nothing to compare it to. So I do have the job description of the consultant, but I don't have the job description of the capital projects manager position. And so, you know, I mean, we're paying $250,000 for a consultant, and this is another 150, and there's no way for me to determine if they have overlapping roles. So I can't support this.
Was that one of the questions you submitted before the meeting?
No, Mr. President, I have stopped submitting questions because I do not get answers.
Okay.
I don't like wasting my time.
So my recollection was that the forensic audit questioned the role of the construction manager and the consultant, and they thought that that was a possible duplication of effort. We provided an extensive explanation as to how that wasn't in our response to that audit. This position becomes a full-time position with the district who oversees all of our capital projects and works alongside our facilities team. It is a supplement in some ways to Mr. Thurnow, whose contract goes up to $250,000. It's not a guaranteed $250,000. Mr. Thurnow has other commitments at this time that is limiting his availability to us, and we believe it's important to keep all the capital projects moving with somebody who has the capacity to do that in a timely manner.
This is also a position that we've had before. We had an employee in this position in addition to Mr. Thurnow. So this person resigned a few months ago, and we were hoping to find someone to fill this role. So it's not a new position, it's an existing title. The person who was in it before resigned not too long ago.
Mr. Levinstein, please.
So just a quick note. I too do not get a lot of my questions answered that I send prior, but what it does do is it prepares them to have an answer when I bring my question forward in public, like the one that I just did before about the transfer. They knew that I asked for it. They didn't give me an answer, which is fine. I just asked it in public and then got the answer. So I also do not get answers to most of my questions. But I keep asking them.
Any further discussion on 10.20?
Roll call, Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard? Yes. Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
No.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes. Thank you. We're at item 10.21. Get a motion and a second on 10.21.
So moved.
Thank you. Any discussion on 10.21?
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard? Yes. Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
No.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Thank you. I separated out 10.22, resolution to approve tenure recommendations. Get a motion and a second on 10.22.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item, I'll begin, but I'd like to welcome our employees who have achieved tenure. It's quite an accomplishment in the educational world. It's certainly a milestone. So tonight we have Carol Ann Whitaker from GAMS. Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of the team. We are moving on to 10.2.
Point of order, sir. We need to vote.
Let's vote. Let's vote you in.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes. Now it's official. Okay, We're at 10.23. Get a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 10.23. Ms. Bello.
Yes, I just wanted to know what data or evaluation supports increasing the salary to $135,000 mid-year.
So we look at salaries from time to time, and I guess at the time with Mr. Gawker, he's an integral part of our not our district overall, but for the public library. And when you look at large-scale libraries, we're managing 2 branches, multiple community-based initiatives, and the scale and the recruitment for other libraries in the area indicated that there was a potential that we need to make sure his pay is equitable across libraries. So the request was made for us to study that. We studied and we gave an offer appropriate to the scale and the scope of his job that he does with us daily.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Levinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
No.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard.
Yes.
Before we move on to the next item, I have to interject that our library is an exceptional place, and our librarian is exceptional. He takes his job so seriously, so passionately, and a guy like that, I will tell you, from the private marketplace, is in demand. And one of the things we try to do as a board is retain people. And sometimes you have to look at a position and you could say, yes, we don't have to give a person a raise, and they'll leave. And then you find yourself minus the position and hiring a person you don't know at more money than the person who left. And that's just a horrible place to be in when you have the homegrown talent right here and a man who is passionate. Other ways to measure him: turnover of his staff, very limited. Accessibility, very, very accessible. The guy does a great job, so we did a good thing. Mr. Howard.
And just to dovetail on that, he's so engaged in the community. I see him everywhere. I mean, outside of the library, events that are going on in the city of Newburgh, town New Windsor, town Newburgh, he's all over the place. And I know that he does have a passion for his work, for the work, and he's representing the district very well.
Right. I would also like to mention, with the call to action, he has been integral in designing programs for Friday nights for our students so that they're not, that they have activities on Friday night to do. And he did that himself. He came up with the programs, he came up with the times, he's enthusiastic about it. He didn't have to do any of that, but he did, because he knows he's part of this school district, and he's working as hard as he can to make it better. So.
He's also a leader amongst his peers. He serves with our regional library on several different boards. So he's a leader of local librarians, and we really need that person front and center in our community.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. All right, we're moving on. Section 11. Ms. Roaring, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Division presents items 11.1 to 11.5 for your consideration on consent this evening.
Thank you. 11.1 to 11.5. Anybody like to separate out any item? Ms. Bello?
11.5.
11.5, sure. Anyone else? Get a motion and a second on 11.1 to 11.4.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 11.1 to 11.4? That's it.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 11.5. Get a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on 11.5? Ms. Bello?
Yeah, I just had a question. Is this $100,000 already included in the current year's adopted budget? And if so, which line?
Yes, it would be a contract service in the O&M budget.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes, it would be a contract service line in the O&M budget.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on 11.5?
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes my items.
Thank you, Ms. Roaring. We're moving on to Section 12, Dr. O'Grady, Curriculum and Instruction.
Curriculum and Instruction presents items 12.1 through 12.7 for your consideration.
Thank you. Would anybody like to separate out anything, 12.1 to 12.7? Go ahead, Ms. Bello.
12.1, 12.4, 12.5, 12.6, and 12.7.
All right, that leaves us with 12.2 and 12.3. Get a motion a second on 12.2 and 12.3?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on 12.2, 12.3?
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go to 12.1. Get a motion and a second on 12.1.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 12.1?
I have discussion, but I really wanted to separate just the Florida conference. The other two were fine.
So you want to...
Motion to amend would be needed, sir.
Motion to amend.
So, motion to amend to separate out the Florida conference.
Thank you. We get a motion, can we get a vote on the motion to amend?
Point of order, there's a motion on the floor. You need a second, sir.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. We get a vote on the motion to amend.
Motion to amend to remove the Florida conferences. Mr. Bergarelli?
No.
Ms. Burks?
No.
Mr. Duray?
No.
Mr. Howard?
No.
Mr. Levenstein?
No.
Ms. Politi?
No.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Motion to amend fails.
Thank you. Get a motion and a second on 12.1.
So moved.
So point of order, 12-1 is still on the floor. As is, you would just need a roll call.
Okay.
Roll call on 12-1 as original. Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
No.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Thank you. We get a motion and a second on 12.4.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on 12.4. Mr. Levenstein, please.
So my conversation is on 12.4 and 12.5, that we're transferring $200,000 from textbooks to PE supplies and to secondary supplies. So if there could be some kind of explanation, why that's needed or how it's not affecting children in the classroom?
Dr. Soto, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So our division quite often reviews our budget. This is a time of year where we start to look at where can we allocate funds that are not being used. One area was textbook funds. So we've shifted our instructional practices in our curriculum and instruction division where we are increasingly moving away from individual purchases, textbook purchases for students. Teachers are purchasing classroom sets, and they're also transitioning to digital licenses, which are much cheaper. They're much more cost-effective. God bless you. So to ensure that our public funds are being utilized, we decided to shift the funds to support our PE classes. We now have a director of PE and health. He did an audit, and recognize that our students need additional supplies to be engaged in their courses. In addition, we're also supporting literacy and library celebrations, right? So our students are going to be receiving additional texts, additional novels to support the DEAR program and our libraries.
So, thank you for that explanation. And it almost is, it's similar to obsoleting a vacant position that hasn't been filled, better off using that money for a better purpose instead of sitting in a general ledger account and not being used.
That is a wonderful
Thank you.
analogy. Thank you for that.
If I could just quickly add, I do want to make sure that it's noted, this does not affect our categorical aid because we have spent sufficient funds in our instructional software line to still maximize our aid for revenue this year.
Thank you.
Mr. Howard, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Soto, on that note, so I understand we're into the first quarter of the 21st century and books going to digital and stuff like that. Have we done studies to show that access and opportunity for children with the digital portion? Are all students having access, and all students being able to use it effectively? And then for ones that don't, what are we doing?
Thank you for asking that question. I'm sure Mr. McGrath will elaborate, but our students have Chromebooks, right? And we find that the digital purchases that we've made support our ENL students because many of those licenses also translate the texts where we don't have texts in languages other than Spanish, right? So that has been one way that we've seen support for our students. In our special education realm, we have students that need additional tech support, and that allows for that. Mr. McGrath, would you like to add?
I think you've done a wonderful
Thank
job.
you so
So I don't know
much.
how much I can add to the conversation because I think you very clearly spelled it out. And one of the things that is worth noting is every single one of our students does have a digital device that the district provides. And with this using digital media, there's the ability to make text larger, look up words. With AI now, we're able to actually take text and have it in different reading levels. So we're able to approach, have readers approach texts at different levels, and they can still be reading the same thing, which is kind of a really cool thing that you couldn't do with traditional books.
Awesome. I like that and I appreciate that. I guess digging deeper into my question, so I understand when they're using their Chromebooks in our buildings and in places with hotspots. So some kids don't have Wi-Fi at home. What do we do with those children in situations like that?
So when we were going through COVID, we provided hotspots to children that needed them. And one of the things that school districts found is that most students actually didn't need them, right? They had the hotspots. Everybody, most people have smartphones. Now, we do occasionally run into a situation where somebody says, hey, we need something. And in that case, we've always accommodated.
Thank you.
The district also is mandated by law to do a digital equity survey every year where we ask these questions to our families. And a lot of the diversification which is within that budget transfer also speaks to literacy and getting physical copies for library usage. So we still have a library where students still check out books, classrooms still have sets, and we have to monitor by law our digital equity survey, which is given to every new entrant, and every student household is given that survey every year.
Thank you so much for that information. I was asking more so for edification of other people. I knew what we were doing, but I needed people to hear what we're doing to ensure that every child has the access and every child has the opportunity to do the things that they need to do through our Chromebooks and stuff like that. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Bergarelli?
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing a mid-year pivot, finding something, hey, we can do better in a different way, working with your colleagues. That's awesome too, to give our students the best we can possibly give them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bergarelli. Any further discussion on 12-4?
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello? Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes. Thank you. We're at 12-5, resolution to approve budget transfer. Get a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 12.5? Ms. Bello?
Yeah, I just have a question. The transfer moves $80,000 out of textbook lines, including $50,000 from NFA Maine to cover scholastic book order. Can somebody explain why the textbook lines have such large surpluses mid-year and why a book purchase is being coded to a general supply line rather than a textbook or library material code?
So we indicated in our earlier response that we're reallocating textbooks funds because we've maximized our categorical aid through instructional software. It's not prudent for us to leave these monies on the table when we can reallocate them in a way that will benefit our children. So they're being shifted into that secondary supply line because the items that we're procuring are not permissible as a textbook expense, nor are they necessarily a library material if we're going to give children the opportunity to keep them. So the most appropriate way for us to do that would be under the secondary supply line.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on 12.5?
Mr. Levinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard.
Yes.
Thank you. We are at 12.6. Get a motion and a second on 12.6.
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 12.6? Ms. Bello?
Yeah. The resolution references students ages 3 through 10. The district doesn't generally serve 3-year-olds, so can you clarify which students this program is actually intended to serve?
Sure. So we have a grant, a challenge grant, that does support that. It's our Newburgh Basics program. So we do support students in that age where we're reaching out to families that are getting ready to come to the district for pre-K. So we do support that. So we're looking for ways to partner with our community and provide additional services. So that's who we're trying to support and service.
Okay, the thing about that is that will incur additional liability, additional supervision, a lot of things. So I appreciate the donation, but I mean, what does that mean? Has there been any cost analysis for what this is going to cost the district? And also, is this a one season pilot, or is it intended to become an ongoing program?
We'll examine the attendance. It is something that we would like to continue with. We do have different grants that support enrichment, and we do want to provide a way to protect our families as we get ready to go into the summer season. We want to make sure that our families and our children know how to swim. So this will provide a free resource for our families in our community and within our school district to ensure that they know how to swim and they are safe.
How is it free? Oh, it's free to them.
It's free to
Got
them.
it, okay. Are there any, will there be any transportation costs associated with this program?
No, the families will bring their children to the program.
Okay.
And we'll share more out as we get closer to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Levinstein?
So as I've done with previous things, when we get donations from people, I just like to call it out. From the United Brain Association that's willing to put money for our students to have a swim program. And Mr. Duray, I don't know if you're going to be doing the second part of that, of the 12-7, or I'll leave that alone. But thank you for the donation to have something good for our kids in the district.
Thank you. We get a vote?
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
No.
Ms. Boucher, Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Thank you. We are at item 12.7. Get a motion and a second on 12.7.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on 12.7? Go ahead. Okay, I will. This is a donation from the Kiwanis Club, who's represented tonight by Jay Mady. Just a fantastic thing, $5,000 to the establishment of a swim program within the district, and we're very, very appreciative. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Any further discussion, 12.7?
Ms. Christine Bello?
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
No.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes, and thank you.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes, and thank you.
Thank you. We're at item 13, Assistant Superintendent, Exceptional Learners. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick, so I just wanted to say that, I think this is an awesome donation and opportunity, understanding that the demographics that we serve as a population, the population that we serve, there are a lot of children that don't know how to swim. A whole bunch of young kids that probably will benefit from this opportunity that could probably or possibly save their lives one day. So I just want to thank the Kiwanis Club for that donation and the United Brain Association. I think that is something that's been very thoughtful for the population that we serve. And as I said before, and I'm not saying it lightly, it could potentially save their lives one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Sure.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Mady, for just being so instrumental in helping us with our community development. You've been so attentive, so supportive, and this really is an opportunity for us to continue to build our community connection. And so thank you on behalf of the district, and we appreciate you, and we look forward to future partnerships. And I am coming to ride my bike. Just saying. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your dedication and support. Thank you.
All right. We are on 13, Assistant Superintendent, Exceptional Learners. Ms. McKinney-Bromley.
Good evening, Mr. President. The Division for Exceptional Learners presents for you item 13.1 for your consideration.
Thank you. Get a motion and a second on 13.1, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 13.1?
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're at item 15, adjourn the meeting of the board. Get a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray? Mr. Howard? Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello? Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.